All right, hello everyone. We are live today, and this is going to be our wellness event that we have every single week. And we have Taz as always, and we also have a very special guest today, Allison, who is the master at our topic today, which is building community. Our main topic of the day is all about building community. So if you are inspired and want to be part of a community, you're looking, maybe you're a lone wolf, or you want to find a community, or you want to find a community that's like this. Maybe you already are part of other communities, but you've never found a community quite like this. Our main topics that we're covering every single week is eating superfoods, inspiring abundance, loving the earth, and building community. Last week we talked about loving the earth. Next week we're going to be talking about eating superfoods and what that means. We're also going to be talking about our group transformation that's going to be coming up in October, on October 1st as well. All right, so first of all, we're gonna jump into community, and I want to share my screen really quick a little bit on our community that we have here. And let's see, I thought it was already ready. Oh, it should be ready to go right here. Here we go. So is my screen shared?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. So this is right here, our community. And what I wanted to share really quick before we jump right into it is our stories about community and what does it mean to us. And so if you want to start, Allison, first, you can go ahead and jump. What does that mean to you? And that picture that we just shared right there. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Thank you so much. I just don't, okay, there, no, okay. Wow. Well, first what, I needed community myself. I just was so isolated, here where I am in Montreal after having, especially, well, my whole life, I never really felt I fit in. I never really felt I had a community. Our society doesn't really foster community. I mean, people have maybe their individual religious groups or, sports groups and things, but I didn't fit into any of those. And so I fell through the cracks. I didn't have that solid foundation. Family units also are just not what they used to be 100 years ago, where all the grandparents lived together and they had, this sense of belonging. And so I found myself, I guess, really relatable. Jared and I moved into a condo when we got married, had my kids. Jared was working full time. I'm alone with the babies. My mental health was deteriorating and I had no physical support. So for me, it came to a point where, well, I was praying for it, but beyond praying for it, I said, I need to take action and I need to call in community, because this is not like, it was just, I knew I needed it for survival. And so I put out, actually became, vegan, and that kind of brought me into a community online, but it wasn't enough for me physically. I had all my friends in my phone. And so I created something called In My Community. I created a group, Vegan St. Henry, which is the neighborhood I lived in. Actually, how I met Taz here. So I'm so grateful I put that out there, because, I think I know I wasn't alone. Everyone is struggling to have that sense of community. And, more than, it's like not even enough to just have people that it's like, okay, this is my like religious group, but people who actually support you, to have people who actually care, that's rare. So actually, Taz was the first, I guess, community member I called in, because I was looking for people who cared. And then once we started to see there was other people like us, I know Taz and I, when we first met, we're like, yay, it's so grateful to like meet other like-minded people. And she was already, part of another community that actually, it was like another level of healing. And what I was looking for was, I wanted healthy community, not just people who, because also being vegan is not enough. I was surrounded with a lot of very unhealthy people, a lot of toxic people, a lot of people who were struggling with their mental health, and it was not enough. And so I found this community with Taz that was actually revolving around support and tangible ways of helping each other. What I really actually was attracted to was that we were incentivized to help. There was a system involved with this community, and that I could not only help myself, but I could help others, and I can grow in this community. I could heal and elevate to next levels. It was really a beneficial community. So I really took that so seriously because of how important it is in this world, how much I know people were looking for it. I met you online, Kevin, in you were living in Lebanon or the Middle East. We were just these people around the world coming together that had the same values, and that like just it clicks. We cared. And so I started to just foster that online, meeting people, connecting, and then started to, I guess, like wherever I was, I really brought that this value of community, and a lot of people were just praying for it like I was. So that's the collective that you see in that photo, which means everything to me because it's the angels I've called in from around the world that were, all of us praying for this together. And so it's such a symbiotic, beautiful, mutually beneficial community that everyone is thriving in right now. We're all growing and healing together.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so beautiful. I just want to read something that I wrote for us about this community that I shared to inviting people. And then I'll share a little bit of mine and then jump into Taz as well. So are you searching for a community that's truly uplifting and supportive and full of love? I totally get it. I've been there too. For years, I longed for a space where real connections and kindness could thrive, and it felt impossible, especially online. But guess what? We cracked the code. We discovered how to use social media as a powerful tool to create real life bonds and build a community that truly supports, heals, and learns together. And now we want to share that with you. So let's make meaningful connections and grow together ethically, authentically, and with heart. Right. And I think that sums it up, right? And like before, like for myself, I was totally like more like a loner, kept to myself. I'd go to work and I was, turn on the social, side of me just to get the job done, and then maybe be not so social outside, right? And I mean, a lot of it stemmed from like early insecurities and stuff like that. But when I was in sports, it was similar, it was different, right? Because you're like with a team, and that was very helpful. And like I like recommend everyone, have an opportunity to do sports, when they're young. That maybe is what saved me, potentially, just doing that, and because that's like one of the few positive things that I could remember is like, we did that and that was really good, doing that sport and putting the discipline in there and all that took. And the competition and everything there. But you lose that as you get older, right? If you like, who's doing like, oh yeah, I'm still doing my high school sport. You're like, that's not common, right? You're like, okay, it's time to be an adult now, right? And you do, job and maybe go home and sleep, a job and go home and sleep, right? And you might not have any kind of hobbies or anything like that. And even like, going plant-based and online stuff was a nice start, right? But I learned it wasn't enough. And that's what a lot of people face, is that it isn't enough. What was enough and what was the most magical thing for me was being in person in Belize when we were all together, right? And that was really the most powerful thing, right? Because then you get to see everything in person, you get to work with everyone, you get a chance to really feel the benefits and the power of the community. And every other single, close-knit event like that has just built upon it, even further and further and further. And I know for some people, I've seen people that are eating perfectly, right? And they're exercising perfectly, right? And everything seems great, but they're still suffering. They still end up being sick. They're still missing something, right? We're not meant to be isolated or forced apart. We're meant to be together, and ideally, yeah, you're all supportive on the same mission, then that's great. And you see these other communities, right, that we maybe been a part of, and sometimes they fall apart, and how they fall apart, and sometimes divisiveness and toxicity and things happen. But you see the strength of this, you know, how strong it is and how it's going to continue, right? And we'll talk about the vision in the future, I mean, in a minute, but Tad, if you want to share a little bit of your story and what it means to your community.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Allison. So my story is a combination of both of you. So growing up, I thought I was that lone wolf, right? I did all individual sports, tennis, track. I couldn't do soccer. I couldn't do anything team building. I'm like, if I can depend on myself, I will do it myself. But the truth is that I needed community. I couldn't do it by myself. But what I was missing is people around me having the same values as me. I couldn't find anyone who we lined up, right? So I'm just like, just stick to yourself. And what happened? My health started suffering. My health started actually deteriorating, and I had to find solutions. So what did I do? I started diving into research and books and, trying to find my way. And it's so difficult to do that on your own. So I did it and I tried. And, I'm a young mom with 2 kids with my family, trying to be healthy, trying to become plant-based. And I felt like I was living a life in quicksand. I come from a family of very big meat eaters. My mom's background, they're butchers. So for me to say, eat plants, that's the way to go, it didn't align with anyone in my family. I felt completely alone, and they would bring all the research that was against me. So I'm like, I need to go and try to find my community. So I started to look online, and I have no experience in talking online. I'm super shy. I didn't know how I could do it, but I'm like, I need to do it. There must be a bigger purpose out there. So that's when I met Allison. She was making already all these videos. She already had this community built. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I want. That's who I want to be, right? I started to attract someone that I wanted to become. The way she spoke, the way she just attracted everyone into her videos. I'm like, that's what I need. How that? How do you look in a camera? Where do you look? Right? It was just so mesmerizing to me. So when I reached out and I found out she's just like me, I'm like, this is what I need. She was a catalyst, not just to my business, but to my life, to the community that we started building together, the like-minded people, the value, which I never thought I needed, but so desperately wanted and craved. And I mean, it's so simple. When we start looking and doing research at the blue zones, right? What is something they all have in common? It's community building. It's not the food, absolutely. It's the exercise. It's it's them being together and them sharing the same values with their neighbors. And I mean, this is what we need to do. And just because I couldn't do it in person, because I was living in Montreal, I could do it online. And the amount of people that I could reach was incredible. I was noticing I used to travel all the time in LA because they were the only people who understood me. And I would meet like-minded people, but when I came back home, it was like, well, where are they? I need people around me every day. I need someone holding me accountable. I need someone calling me out of my crap. I mean, like we all go through it, and we need someone to light the fire within us of not just what we need to do, of our purpose, and to remind us all the time where we need to go. Because let me tell you, it's so easy to give up. So easy. I could have given up years ago, but if I didn't have this community lighting my fire all the time, that's my purpose. This is why I'm here. This is why I'm doing this. So that is so simple that when you find the right community, the right people that you are truly aligned with, now you feel unstoppable, right? So we want to show all of you how you can become limitless and unstoppable as well with our community.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree. Like, I know I could not have done this alone, and I couldn't have done it without you two. You two have been so critical, you know, and in my healing and success, and that's what it's all about, you know. And so I want to thank you for that for sure. And I have a couple questions. So why, or we already answered that, I guess. What is your vision and either both of you guys could answer too. But we'll start with Allison for right now. What is your vision for the community? And including, if you want to include as well, like the land piece, you know, and what you want to be on the land, and that stuff as well.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And yeah, Tess, you just touched me so strong. You know, yeah, thank you so much for connecting with me. Wow. KindHuman is what I called our community because my most important thing was kind humans. And, you know, I know we can all come from different backgrounds and we all may see things differently, but to have that mutual respect is just a baseline, you know, and even when I was part of communities, like in my yoga community, which I did find, and that's saying, you know, I was part of other, and I was part of an art school, and it was not nice. So even if we kind of had, you know, we were in the same interest, it was mean, and I was around people who were mean to me, who were trying to, just a lot of meanness. So I was like, okay, just want kind humans around me, please. So that was the baseline, and yeah, when, you know, we started, of course, it was online, and actually it was around COVID time, so we didn't have a choice, and there was just, you know, a lot of isolation in the world. But now, you know, my bigger vision as we have expanded and we've reached so many people online, we have an incredibly huge community, and it's just growing. Our true vision, and this happened actually around the beginning of COVID, was when it really struck me that holy moly, we got to get our community going, because if we could see how quickly things can just shut down or turn off, and online is just not enough right now. Like, we need to build something physical and in preparation, you know, for the future, because we didn't have that preparation when things happened in 2020. So it's funny. This is my honest, just way I thought. I said to Jared, and I remember exactly the situation. It was like just when things were going in lockdown. And I said, we need to stay close to Dave. He knows what's going on. He's got it. Like, I'm like, we need to just get close to Dave. We just need to like anchor down, like physically close to him and what's happening with Purium. You know, we want to just be physically there. So I had no idea that would even be a possibility. Had no idea I thought that was a total pipe dream. And like, you know, but as it happens, when you set your intention, you know, things unfold. And last year was actually the first event I ever organized in person. Well, I had done some small ones. We'd actually did a few at the Country House in Canada, which is so amazing. That built my confidence that, oh my God, once the right people are together, right? Like Tad said, like-minded people, once they're together, it's easy. Like, everything flows beautifully. So what I realized, if it's the right people, if we call in the right people, you know, and we posted an event actually at the Oasis at Dave's Land, that was with 45 people in our community. And do you have a picture of that? That would be nice to see that one. Yeah, we got here, that green background there. And we really fell in love with the land. And I think, you know, all of us were really transformed once we were physically together in that land. We saw the power of next level, like healing and growth. And what was so cool was Dave is so like down to earth, you know, he was just like, why don't you guys stay? And I was like, what? And he was just like, yeah. He's like, you have your RV? He's like, just stay, and then you'll build a house here. Like, we have all this land. And I'm just like, anyway, it was just crazy that was even like, you know, so we obviously seized that. We didn't really question it or even think twice. We were like, okay. So we couldn't stay at that time, but we did end up going and going back there. We bought 10 acres of land with this intention of, first of all, having our own home. Jared and I have never had a home. Actually, our family has never, we did buy a condo when we got married, but it was way too small. Like, there was only one extra bedroom. So we didn't have enough room for the two girls. And so we ended up, selling. We've been kind of transient since, kind of like waiting to build enough money to like actually buy a home. And so we just first is we want to build our home. We have a yurt being built there now that is eventually also going to be one of these. We want to build yurts on the land, build a regenerative farm, which is also in alignment with Dave's vision. He bought these acres of land with that intention, but he just couldn't physically do it himself. He's so busy. And he's also raising his young family, and he's just so busy. So he was calling in people who wanted to have this done. I know you went to an event at his land, the Earth Day event, where he had, people working on the land. This is his vision. He wants to create the Purium community to physically, eventually the whole plan is, and I've seen this since the very beginning, my vision was clear with it. I said, first we heal our guts. That's first. Then we help others. And then together we come together to heal the soil. And that was just the vision I had. And I didn't realize how that was, that's the exact vision that Dave had, and that we are all building it online now because that's what was, available to us. But we are, the idea eventually is to come together, or to all of us amass enough wealth to buy land and build our own communities, because each one of us, we can duplicate this around the whole world. So, we want to kind of build a prototype right now of what a regenerative farm, holistic health community can look like, imagine where you have no outside influences of terrible food and drugs, where it's like-minded and people who value health and family. And so, we're actually, we dream really big. We have big vision for that land. And we want to have it that people, even in our community, can rent a place for a month, or do exchanges, or, we can host retreats there. We can have you can host retreats there. We want to make it a collaborative environment, and that it's also going to duplicate everywhere around the planet, so that we can also have places to visit. In different places we go to, we'll always have community, and a healthy hub, a healthy space that we can all visit.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I think that's been like the connection that we all have from the beginning. It's like we all see like this potential in this future. And then like we also see like evidence, like collecting evidence along the way, right? And so I definitely love that. And I think that can bring us into, and Taz can speak also on her vision, and also maybe even answer the next question is how can people join this mission? So maybe Taz, maybe you could talk about, your vision, and also how can people join us? Because that is one of the most important things. It's like the same thing, you can't do it alone, but if you believe in everything that we talked about so far up to this point, then you're our people, you're with us. So like now it's about collaborating.
Absolutely. And everything that Allison is saying, if you can listen beyond the words she's saying, you hear passion, right? How easy is it to share when you're passionate about something? I'm asking all of you who are listening to this right now, how easy is it for you to share your passion? Does it come like second nature, or does it take a moment? Do you have to reflect upon it and think, well, what are you doing right now in your life? Is that leading you to your passion, or is it hindering you? A lot of people that I know, they're living in a 9-to-5 work, and they're like, this has nothing to do with what I want to do, what I truly, truly want to do. And we're in this time frame that everyone wants to do things on their own time. I try to say something that it's healing without borders. We don't need to be in a box anymore. This is opening up our vision to possibilities that we didn't even think it was possible. Allison's dream at the beginning, she had a clear vision, right? But not everyone has that vision, or it's been destroyed by schooling, by our family, by friends, by life, right? Let's just be honest about it. But we are here to support you and to tell you that your dreams can actually come true. Wherever you are in the world, we are here to help you tap in to that purpose that I know you all have, that you all really seek and you really want to see this change in the world, however it may look. Maybe it may look of building yurts and being in this off-grid community. Maybe it just may be healing the world. Healing the world, but that's basically what it is. The earth is a reflection of us. If we're sick, what do you think's happening to the earth? It's not doing too well either, right? So us tapping into our true desires and who we truly want to be, it's not necessarily who we are, but who we want to be, and start embodying that person and creating the lifestyle, the life that we want to grow into, that we want to be. Move forward. Move forward and reach out to us and let us help you along that journey. Because again, I say it, it's not easy journey, and no journey is easy. If it's super attainable, if it's easy, how many people would have done it, right? You have to be consistent. You have to have a drive. You have to have this purpose. You have to, make the whole point of vision boarding is so that you can put your vision there on a piece of paper and look at it each and every day. Why are we doing this with our daily life? Why does it have to be a once in a year or a half a year type of things? Let's step into our purpose every single day and build a future every day of what we want to be and where we want to live. Right?
I love that. That's so key. It isn't only just what we've talked about and what we've shared. It's what you want. It's what is your vision and believing truly that you can do it. And we talked about this on our previous call about building wealth. You're like, well, how do I do it? How do I build wealth? Well, we just talked about that a couple of weeks ago. You can look at the replay, like how to get to what you want, right? So let's wrap this up. I know that you have a heart out, and that's fine, Taz. So if you need to jump out, I understand, but we're just going to wrap this up and share, okay, what do we do together? How do we work together? What's something that we all can do together, right? That as a community, you're like, how am I going to do this? I'm over here in Pennsylvania. I'm over here in another country. Okay, well, how do you do this together? We do group transformations. We do group transformations together. I'm going to share real quick my screen about our next one coming up in October. And Allison, if you want to share a little bit about this group transformation, I'll get the photo up, but if you want to start talking while I get it.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. We have to tap into what is our dream. It starts with our own health. It starts with our own gut. And we can't even listen to our intuition until we really clean out our gut. So I really urge that everyone joins. This is a 30 days to curb your cravings. And this doesn't just have to be about sugar. It's whatever we're looking to release that's not serving our highest self. And we all know what those habits are. And so this is a chance that you have support, you have accountability, and you're going to have the right foods that are going to replace bad habits. For me, actually, I'll just share quickly what Taz said with coffee. When Taz introduced this to me, I was still drinking coffee every morning. And she said, don't worry, you don't have to stop drinking your coffee. Just have your green juice first, because you don't want to block the absorption of your vitamin C and iron. And, you want to get all that good benefit from your green juice. So just wait after have your coffee, right? This was the best way that she explained it to me, because it wasn't deprivation or, eliminating. It was adding something in that was going to eventually, and I didn't know this would happen. And actually, this is what I tell people, like, you just got to trust the process. When you start adding these things in, we have a perfectly complete nutrition program that addresses all of our, vitamins, minerals, gut detoxing, parasite and colon cleaning. And when you start introducing this structure of nutrition into your life, watch what happens. It starts to replace habits. I ended up saving so much money that I didn't even know I was spending because of these daily habits that were, hurting my health, and they were expensive, and this replaced it. So this is magic. We start everyone on this 30-day program. It becomes a lifestyle. But, once you feel the benefits, you realize you just don't want to stop, because it's been 6 years on this lifestyle for me. I know longer for Taz, and it keeps on getting better and better. So we want to heal everyone. We want to heal the world. We want everyone to start with themselves. This becomes your at-home healing toolbox. But not only that, is you get the support of this community.
Absolutely. Is there anything you want to add, Taz, before you have to go to this?
I mean, it's so many forms of cravings. It's bad habits, it's snacking. I mean, it's not just about sugar. This is about, chips. It's about all of those little habits that you wish you could cut. It naturally happens. And, don't take our word for it. Try it. Try it yourself and see how you feel. Give it a chance. Trust the process because magic happens. Okay. And everyone has their own experience. So don't compare yourself to someone else's journey. This is your journey and it's personal. So whatever you're going through, you will feel a transformation on any level of that.
Yeah, absolutely. The most important thing I think that you said is trust the process. So many people are like they start and sometimes and they're like give up. Like you were saying, people it's so easy to give up sometimes and then you don't even know. Like at least I always say, trust the process, give it and then have a honest evaluation on yourself, right? And an honest assessment, if you're like I did this, right? So yeah, we'll comment below anyone that wants to join any information and then also join in our communities as well. For anyone that watched this video, get back to the person that invited you if someone invited you to this video. But yeah, reach out to us directly because we're all working together. We're all going to be contributing to this transformation, and we're all working together on top of just the food, but we're all providing our skills and our talents to make sure that we are fully supporting everyone, on a daily basis. And that's what people need, like that are struggling. Everyone that I've seen that's struggling, it's really, really hard by yourself, and everyone that's been successful, they did it with a team and did it together. All right. So thank you all. I appreciate you for your time.
Thank you.
And see you guys next week.
Join us.
That's all next week. Bye.